Hi, my name is Vivian Kwan, principal of YK Creative. We focus on branding and digital marketing. I am very excited to be here partaking in this opportunity to train with US PAC and grow with Google on the subject of e-commerce and how to market your business through Google and Google software tools. So let's get started. So I've been working with US PAC for approximately 3 years. And as an Asian American business owner, I've found it very impactful to be part of this organization as they are in the forefront of helping Asian Americans um, increase their business network and opportunities. So as a member and a partner with US PAC, I am happy to be here with you today. So getting started, we're going to be talking about how to market your e-commerce using all of Google tools. And let's get started with our agenda for the day. What we're going to go over is we have a few topics. Why sell online? Why showcase your products how do we showcase your products with a business profile? Showcase products with Google Merchant Center, sell online with Shopify, and we're going to end it with the recap and information on the resources that's available through Google. Now, if you look at this list, depending on your experience and background, you may feel possibly overwhelmed, but do not, because the purpose of this is to, one, demystify, right? All the information that you feel like is overwhelming. So we're going to share this information, we're going to simplify it, and we're going to share the step-by-step guide so that you can set up your business online and create this visibility on the World Wide Web. So moving on to the first topic, why sell online? So imagine yourself when you shop, and with the advent of last 2 years, I'm sure 99% that you've been shopping online as well, whether it's through Google or Amazon. We've all done it. We've looked online and we've researched and we purchased directly. Probably more so now than we have done in the past. And maybe we've researched before actually transacting, right? So if we look at the statistics, it is verified that shoppers go online first in over 60% of shopping occasions. That's over 50, right? So the numbers are on the incline. Now, then the global survey found that 45% of shoppers buy online first and then pick up in the store. So you can imagine this, the action of researching online actually precipitates people to go to the physical store, the brick and mortar. So whether you have an online store or not, if you just have a brick and mortar, it's actually beneficial to still showcase your products through Google search so that you can usher them back to your physical store. So this is tremendously insightful to see that the numbers are inclining. And so it's important that you consider this into your business strategy. Next, it says, global survey found that 58% of purchases were prompted by something the shopper saw online, even if sales happened in the store. 46% of shoppers surveyed confirmed inventory online before going to a store. So again, as mentioned, if you see something on social media, you maybe a new product that just came into market, you're not going to immediately purchase, generally speaking. You're probably going to shop around, compare prices, compare the prices from different stores, maybe get more understanding, because why not? Information is right at your fingertips. So with that said, people will research online before they actually make a purchase. So what does this mean for you? It means the more information that you provide online, then the greater chance that they will be able to learn from you before they make an educated decision. So I have a fun fact here. Did you know online shopping journey has over 140 touch points? So generally, before an individual actually purchases a brand new product, This isn't something that you just purchase over reoccurringly. For example, like laundry detergent or toothpaste, toothbrush. We're not talking about that. We're talking about maybe a new outfit, maybe even a car, maybe even if you want to travel or you want to try a different restaurant. So if you want to venture out, try new things, generally people will do their research. So with that said, Google has found that it takes about 140 touch points, whether you see that brand or information on social media, or you see it on television, you hear it on radio, or your friends may talk about it, your friends and family. It takes about, on average, 140 times to hear about the product before you actually transact. So that's a lot, right? So the more information that you can display about your product, the more channels that you can create for your prospect to learn more about, purchase your product. So with that said, Google is creating opportunities so that you can broadcast the products that you sell, more information about it to educate your audience through Google resources. And let's get started. What we have is Google Business Profile. And we'll come back to this more in detail. But what Google is offering is that they are allowing you to set up a business profile. And this is all free. And that's another aspect that's just really wonderful for what Google is doing for their constituents. So you have your business profile that you can create, and you can also create visibility through Google search. Also, you can have your pictures become visible through Google Images, Google Lens. This is relatively new, and this is so exciting. In fact, I challenge you after this presentation that you go ahead and download Google Lens. It's an app, and to try it for yourself. And you're going to like it so much that I know you're going to want to make sure people can find the product they're looking for through Google Lens. And that's going to be your product. Also, we want, Google allows you to, when we create an account, allow your products to be visible through shopping ads. Now, mind you, this is paid media, so we'll touch up a little bit more on that later. And also, there's a tab that Google offers, which is Google Shopping tab. Now, I'm guilty of it because, like, for the holidays, I was looking for, gifting my friends, and I was shopping. And of course, I'm not a shopper where I like an array of too many options. I like them to be curated based on the keywords I enter. And it was fantastic because Google was able to find the products that narrowed the search for me so that I wasn't overwhelmed with hundreds of options. So again, going counterclockwise, Google Business Profile, Google Search, Google Images, Google Lens, Shopping Ads, Google Shopping tab. If you can have your products or services visible on all of these platforms, then the greater your chances are to create these multiple touch points for your prospects. Okay, let's move forward. Showcasing your products with a business profile. Now, this is very important. It's very important for you to have a business profile page. And again, as mentioned, it's free. So what do you have to lose, right? And I like to tell anyone who's willing to listen, why it's important to create a business profile or to use all of the tools that Google offers. So imagine Google is a business as well, right? They're not, it's not a business where they just want to do good, even though of course they're doing a lot of good. They are a functioning business. So that means they want to be able to provide excellent service to their customer base, right? How do they offer excellent service and product base? They do that by creating a set of rules, right? So that creating parameters so that all the information that they store is specifically organized, they're orderly, and is able to easy to access for all of their users and so forth. So in a nutshell, the goal of Google is to provide their tools to make it very easy to use for their customers, for the people who are searching information online. They want to make it accessible and easy to use in a nutshell. And how do you do that with this plethora amount of information that's floating out in the digital space. They do that by creating parameters and standards and rules. And so essentially, when you use these tools, you're following those protocols so that they're able to synthesize this information and be able to deliver it to the audience effectively. So with that said, your business profile, when you create a business profile for your business, and it's again free, then you're one step ahead of your competitors who do not have a business profile. Because when you have it, Google is able to then take that information that you've shared or you uploaded and be able to distribute it through the Google space. Okay? All right. Let's get into the details of this. So how do we create, what is the benefit, right, of the Google, setting up Google Business? Here, what we have in front of, on screen is an example. Now, when you do a general search, typically you may get, there's a breakdown of the page in the search results. You have paid media, the banner, the ad. Then below that, you have the organic search results, right? And then typically to the right of that, the column, you'll see, for example, here on the screen, the Spice House. That's a business that popped up when someone searched the term for spices. And in an ideal world, you would want your business to pop up. Now, when you have a business profile and you have the page display about your company, you want the information to be top-notch. The more information you have, the more authentic, accurate information, high quality, then the chances of your prospect visiting your store will increase. And we're going to dive in a little bit. But continuing on to what you see on the screen, we have the essential spices and the image above it. So this is an example of the product image that will display related to the Spice House. And this is what they've entered, the company, the Spice House, using Google services. Now, if you don't have a business profile, then it's really easy. It's very easy to set up. All you do is go to google.com and then set up an email address. If you don't have a Gmail address, if it's easy to sign up, just go to google.com and create a Gmail address there. And once you do, then you can go ahead and proceed on creating your business profile. So again, Google, being a very sophisticated organization, they make it very easy to create your profile. It's step-by-step, it's intuitive, and it's not overwhelming. So here's an example. What you would do is once you first create your Gmail address, and then you create your business profile. Then on the left column in the menu, in the main navigation, you will see a series of options. And again, Google will walk you through these steps. You'll add your name, you'll add your logo, your business photo. You'll identify the category, whether it's a service, it's a restaurant, it's a product. If once you're ready to actually add your product information, as an example, you're selling bikes. So then you can upload images of bikes that you have for men, women, kids, so forth. You would include details about the price range, description, and a button to help the audience take action, right? It's not enough to say, hey, we have beautiful bikes, here's the information, and then you end it there. You want to incite a call to action, and Google helps you set all of these things up. Now, side note, I come across a lot of business owners that sometimes don't pay attention to the images they upload. They just kind of try to find anything they can find, or they just take photos using their phones. Now, it's not wrong to do that, but the pro tip is the higher quality your images, the quality of the composition, the color, make sure it's not too dark, make sure you actually showcase the beauty shot of the product that you're promoting. Those are little pro tips to help you highlight the products that you're selling, that you don't want to just snap a photo and upload them, you want to make sure the images that you upload is quality. And secondly, you want to be able to add information, description, or the page, the product name as descriptive as possible. And enter information. So considering the keywords that your prospects would search for. So here's an example. We have on screen, we have these beautiful looking spices. So instead of just saying spices, right? You can see on screen the essential spices collection, so that it's a little bit more descriptive than entering spices. You can even say maybe essential spices from around the world, right? So then you can say it's from around the world, that it's not just local, as an example. But the more specific you can be in the description and the actual name, that then you will again increase the possibility that the searcher will find your product, and that they'll consider looking into your product because it has more information that they can personally synthesize. How the product can appear. So imagine now you completed one task of uploading your product photo and adding the description, price range, and so forth. Now, you want to make sure you have a preview of what information that your audience is going to see. So this is an example of how that page will look like. And again, it's important to be able to add content and do a preview and test to make sure everything is in place. Moving forward, okay, so what we just concluded was setting up your business profile. This is different from setting up a Google Merchant Center. And now, the key difference between these two is that the business profile page is pretty much about your company, right? It's not so much about all the products that you're selling, products or services. The essential focus is to display more about your company information. Okay, so moving then on, how do you become even more, how do you make your business even more immersed with Google? That's the next step. And we're going to show you how to do that by setting up an account with Google Merchant Center. So what is Google Merchant Center? Google Merchant Center is an amazing application that Google has created for their constituents. And essentially, it's another set of tools for e-commerce business owners or retail or brick and mortar business owners to use so they can be visible online. And if, for example, you would like to even possibly utilize pay-per-click through Google, you would need to have a merchant account, Google Merchant account, to set these up. And it's very painful if you had multiple usernames and passwords, trying to manage all of these accounts, to merge them together and to be able to share and analyze these data. It can be very painful. So what Google has done is merged all of those tools in one place under Google Merchant Center. Now, we're going to share with you a screenshot where you can go to google.com/merchant center. This is a screen that you can go to sign up. Again, if you have a Gmail address, that is all you're going to need to sign in, and then you're going to then sign up for the Google Merchant Center. Again, it's free, it's highly useful, and it's very easy to use. You're going to love it once we walk through step by step what the benefits are and how to use them. You're going to love this. Great. So moving forward, let's see where your products can appear. Let's start with that. So say you're selling, I have, for example, a pair of glasses, reading glasses, right? So if I were to sell this, I would like to do some research. Well, I would need to, like, who are my competitors? What are they selling? What are the price points and so forth? But also it's important to visit, well, what shows up for my product? Does it even show up? That's an important question. If it doesn't show up, then I have a lot of homework to do. If it does show up, then let's find out how well the information is displayed. So here on screen, what you see is we have many ways to find a product. Here, what Google search will do is typically it will be able to locate where you are. So just to keep this presentation simple, we're going to assume that the business is all US based. One of the tabs that you have under Google search is shopping tab. Now, this is when I mentioned earlier when I was shopping for Christmas, I enter some keywords. Instead of seeing search results with pages and pages of possible content where I can shop, what Google has done is created a separate tab and synthesized those options for me to actually buy. And those options will essentially be any one of the merchants who took the time to enter their data and enter the photos of what they were selling, description, and of course the call to action, how I can buy immediately. So going back to my glasses as an example, say I'm shopping, I'm a shopper, and I wanted to shop for a pair of glasses. And I enter my keyword, I'm looking for glasses, right? Now, from a merchant's point of view, the merchants who are able to upload all the available products, that they're selling on Google Shop, they have a higher chance of selling those products because it's visible for me to find. It's all the information that I'm looking for is there under the shopping tab. So in the shopping tab, they synthesize all those images and description based on my search keywords. So that's one area that you will be able to display your products, right? Another place that you'll be able to display your products is Google Images. Nowadays, you'll be able to see in the first row, like here on screen, all the products that's available. So if I entered keywords for glasses, then that row will display all the glasses that's possible for me to buy tied to the keywords that I entered, whether I use the word sunglasses, reading glasses, travel glasses. Based on those keywords, the products that I am interested will display. And again, like I said, but only for those merchants who took the time to upload their data, because there are plenty of other merchants who have not done it, and we will never know what they're selling, right? Here, again, one more little piece is on the screen, you see product annotation. So when you see in Google Images, this is how you'll be able to tell, there's a product icon, shopping icon. I can actually buy that right now versus, it's just a nice photo floating around in Google Space. So when you add your products on Google Merchant, you'll be able to have it identified as a product so that someone can buy it immediately. Now, this is exciting. I mentioned earlier Google Lens. After our presentation, I highly encourage you to download this app because it's really exciting, right? So imagine you're traveling, you're shopping, and you see these amazing things, whether they're spices or maybe a pair of shoes, hats, sunglasses. But you know what? You're like, well, I want to shop. Like, I want to be able to shop whether they are, am I getting a good price for this and so forth. So you're able to, using Google Lens, take a photo of that product and be able to compare, right? Or be able to look for something similar online. So again, when you have your products uploaded in the Google database, then they will be able to match the photos closest to the photo that was, uploaded by the searcher and be able to match you with them. So again, it's very easy to use. I highly recommend that you download this application for yourself and for your business. Next, shopping ads. So this is specific to paid media. It's only visible if if you have a budget to advertise using Google Analytics as well. Side note, Google Analytics is free, but what I mean by is you would need it to apply it with Google pay-per-click. So the beautiful part of it, though, is you don't have to have another account for paid media and have another username password to manage, and then have a separate database to follow and compare and so forth. You can do all of this in one place. So you can manage your paid media, your advertising under Google Merchants. Okay, so how the Merchant Center works. And this is the 3 easy steps. 1, we're going to again create an account. 2, we're going to upload your products. And 3, we're going to show the products across Google. So what we just demonstrated was all the spaces that you'll be able to display your products. That's all we did. So I hope you didn't feel overwhelmed. All the options that we just walked through are places that you can actually exhibit the products, right? So the more touch points, remember the 140 touch points, the more that you can create that for your product, you increase the chances of the prospect, the audience, to purchase your product, not anyone else's, but your product. So that is the whole purpose. So now that you are excited, just like I am, and you're ready to go, and you are ready to get started, just want to say, let's create an account. You're going to create an account. So you're going to go to your Google Merchant, sign up with your Gmail, and then add this to your profile. And you enter information about your business here as well. So as you can see, as an example, we're going to use the Spice House. You enter that. You are required to enter the location, right? Because obviously, as an e-commerce, there are a lot of information about taxes and so forth that you have to be mindful of, and locations and shipping and so forth. So enter all the information that is required by Google, and enter your information about your website, your location, and so forth. Now, side note is that when you enter this, Google will have to verify, right? So that, like I said, Google is a business. They don't want to have more, they want to make sure the companies that they promote, they're all authentic, right? And highly qualified. So the more accurate information that you enter and it's verified, then we create win-win for all sides. So the next one is provide additional info. If you have an e-commerce store and you already have a platform like Shopify or PayPal, this is a section that you would check off. So here's how it works. There are multiple, and we're going to go in a little deeper, but essentially you may have just a physical store that you don't have an e-commerce for. So if you don't, that's okay too. But those are some of the options, right? You don't have to have an e-commerce store to display your products. Like I said before, you may want to be able to exhibit all the products that you have, but usher them, drive them back to your brick and mortar. You can do that by having an account with Google Merchant. Or you can drive them to your website, an online store. You don't even have to have a physical store. You can just drive them to your online store and help them create a transaction. So basically you can, if you have an online store like Shopify, you can check this portion off and then enter the rest of the information, agree to the terms and services, and then the setup is complete. Now, the anatomy of Merchant Center account, and it sounds really technical, but the beauty is you get a visual display of how the activities look like visually, right? So you'll be able to see what the activities, how the products are, working for you. Like, so you have the information posted, how are they buying? Are people looking at it? Are they not looking at it? Are the trends different from business days to weekends? So you are able to collect that form of data over time. Now, it is exciting. In fact, it may feel overwhelming a little bit in the earlier stages because there's a lot of information, but trust the process. I like to remind you, just trust the process, because it becomes a lot of fun when you're able to see the action tied to every content that you post, right? In real time. Generally speaking, real time. You'll be able to see how your products are, how your customers, prospects are reacting to the content that you're posting. And you'll get a visual display here in the Merchant Center. So verify your business. I kind of mentioned this a few slides before. Again, Google is a business as well. So they want to be able to showcase businesses that are authentic, right? So as I mentioned, the more accurate information you post, then they're going to verify that. And it creates a win-win situation, because they want to be able to promote businesses that can offer as many, authentic information as possible. Now, the steps to getting your business verified is through having a Google Analytics page set up. And again, that one is free as well. You can have tag manager set up. Now, if you want to have your tag manager set up, this is a little technical. So I encourage you to speak to a developer or a Google certified consultant to help you with that step. But the easiest one is to add HTML file to your website. And you will be able to get that, the HTML file off of the dashboard and be able to just upload it to your website. So that would be probably the easiest. But then that'll just help complete the verification process. That was it. Step one, creating the account, right? Very easy, entering your basic information and adding the web file into your website, and then you're done. The next step, step two, adding your products. This is the part where you were waiting for. How, quickly can you get your products up so it can be displayed and have it visible to everyone online? And again, this is good because, holidays we just passed the season for the holidays, and we have another season of the spring weather coming. And so it's going to be Valentine's, Easter, Mother's Day, so you're well ahead and you're ready to go once you complete this process of adding your products. So there are a couple of methods in adding your products, right? There are individual. You can add them individually, one product at a time. And this is useful if you want to curate, right? Maybe you have exclusive products that you just want to display and nothing else. This is the one way to go about it. You can add multiple products. Say you have 10 to 50 products that you want to upload, but you don't want to, data enter all that information, typing them in. So you have an option to upload a spreadsheet. The third option is you could do both, where you have options to just kind of create a unique upload of a file, or you can batch upload a series of files. So walking you through one of the basic forms is to add an individual product. And as you can see, Google will walk you step by step, adding the location, the name of the product, the language, and so forth. It's right there in front of you. You can add multiple products. And again, as I said, maybe you have like 10 to 50. You don't want to have to key them in. You can upload using a spreadsheet. And you can download a template. Google will offer you a template that you can download, because again, you can't just upload any spreadsheet. You have to follow the standards of how Google synthesizes their information. So they have a template that you can download and where you can then match your information to theirs, and then you can easily upload it to the system. And so here's an example of, again, step-by-step guide. You can see here in the breadcrumb, it's easy to use, just follow, and you'll be able to add them. I may have spoken a little too soon, but this is the page that is talking about the templates where you can upload. And again, it's very useful if you have many products that you don't want to have to enter one at a time. Here's an example of the actual spreadsheet. Now, step 3. We're going to get into something even slightly more advanced. This is if you have a store with 50 products or more even, right? And but before we touch on that, just what we've done so far, uploading these products, you're going to be the products that you've uploaded will be visible through Google Search, through Google Shopping tab, possibly through Google Ads when you if you're interested in the paid media. Your products will be visible through Google Images and, of course, Google Lens. So this is where step 3, we talked about where you, outside of the individual multiple. Now, this is if you have a Shopify or similar product. A similar product being other platforms, an e-commerce platform, right? So, and this could be if you already have a merchant, a store, online store, and you've already spent time uploading the data information, all your products. Say you have thousands of products. Okay, maybe even 50, but it's already in a store. You already have a store, it's functioning, it's selling, you're moving products and so forth. Now, you don't have to re-enter that. You don't have to download a spreadsheet and re-upload in Google Merchants. What you could do is actually integrate the database. And that is the third final option. You don't have to have it, but this is certainly an option that you can use if you have a separate online store. One e-commerce option is Shopify. As I mentioned, Shopify, you don't have to use Shopify. You may use other e-commerce platforms to sell online. But of course, as you can imagine, Google has partnered with Shopify. They've already optimized the integration. So we're, of course, demonstrating using Shopify because the tools have already been optimized so that it's the integration is as simple as possible and error-free. So before we get into more of how to do it, let's kind of talk about why we use Shopify, how to use Shopify. Side note, make commerce better for everyone. So Shopify, this is information from Shopify. They have approximately 1 million merchants, and they are utilized over in 175 countries, and their sales revenue is approximately 155 billion. Now, these are very large numbers. So you can imagine they know what they're doing, right? Not only do they know what they're doing, but they've become very proficient. So they're one of the top e-commerce platforms that Google has partnered with. So it's not the only ideal scenario, but I think we're getting pretty close. So offline only retailers are moving online fast, and isn't that the truth? So if you don't have an e-commerce store now, it's something to think about because people are migrating online and the numbers are increasing year over year. But don't feel overwhelmed because as this migration is happening, companies like Google, they're working very hard to make it as easy as possible for you to sell online. And same with Shopify. So Shopify allows you to sell your products on your own personalized e-commerce site. I've used Shopify myself, and I have to agree, I attest that they are one of my favorites. They're easy to use. They have great templates, so I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what it should look like, because they have so much information, useful information, and years of experience. They really make it as easy as possible for anyone to set up a store. In fact, it's so easy, you can set up in a couple of hours. So if you don't have an online store, let's talk about how to get started. All you do is go to shopify.com. You can enter your email address to start an account. Now, there is a free trial. I believe it's 14 days, but I could be wrong. Please check. But it's risk-free, right? If you can set up an account, use it for a few weeks and see whether you like it or not, what do you have to lose? They ask a few questions about you and your business, so they can then help address the best approach in selling. So here's an example. If you're selling, clothing, or whether you're selling sports gears, or maybe you're selling more of a service line, if you are able to answer the series of questions that they ask, then they'll be able to, and obviously you've caught on that I like the word synthesize. So they're able to synthesize all this data, information that you've entered, and then boom, they'll share with you some options and recommendations on how to set up the rest of the pages. So it's pretty intelligent. So getting started with the Spice House, here's an example of their dashboard. And as you can see, it's similar to the Google Merchant, but let's not get confused. This is a separate online store. This is the actual store where you can talk about your business, the whys, the values, and the benefits of your products, right? The Merchant is a system to display your products throughout all the search engines or through Google search engines so that people can find your product. But at the end of the day, the transaction happens at your store. And the transaction that happens in your store is, as in an example, at Shopify. So adding products, it's very easy. All you do is go look at on the left column where you see all products, and here you can also add products one at a time. Similar to Google Merchant, you can add one at a time, or you can upload a spreadsheet. And they also followed a similar format where you add the title of the product or the name, enter the description of the product. And again, I encourage you to use words that is terms that people would use to find your product. And again, I like to mention, upload quality looking photos. Don't just randomly take a snapshot of your pictures. Be very cognizant of the kind of photos that you post, and also post more than one. I've noticed a lot of stores, they only post one picture because they're in a rush, or they feel that they don't need anymore. It's pretty straightforward. But the more information that you can offer, again, that increases the chances. So pictures, video, different angles, different applications, the more photos that you can upload, the better. Now that we kind of went over Shopify and the value and the importance of it, and that's an example, right? You can have other e-commerce platforms, but once you have your Shopify set up with your products, then we're going to connect to Google. So jumping back to the Google Merchant Center, you have a space here on your left where it says sales channels on the left column. You select that and you'll have a pop-up where it says, well, let's connect to Google. And it's that easy. Because they're partners, they made it very easy for the two systems to connect. And then this page will show where you can then set up the channel. And continuing to move forward, then you connect with your Google account. So it will ask for your username and password to your merchant account, and it will do the rest. Confirm your store requirements. And again, these are all step-by-step, very straightforward. And once your store requirements are met and it's synced, then you're ready to get started. Now, there are a couple of key points that I didn't mention because we're running through all the steps. But one is when you have your images uploaded on Google Merchants, then it takes up to 24 hours for Google to go through the verification process and to be able to verify all the images and data information that you've uploaded. So just be mindful that it's not something where you upload and it's going to be visible the 5 minutes later. It's going to take up to 24 hours. Now, when you sync the system, as the system is like Shopify and Google, it may take up to 24 hours as well. So keep that in mind. So what you do is you just follow the series of the steps when Google is trying to sync with your Shopify. It will ask you for your Google account information, as you can see, your Merchant Center account information. And once they all have been verified, then you'll be ready to go. Now, this is the extra information, but essentially it helps you. What they want to do is continue to help you target your audience, because now these two systems integrated, right? The database content is being integrated. So they want you to be mindful of the location that you are, of your location, of where you're selling, and they want to make sure that you understand the restrictions. Not all countries are able to sell to the rest of the world or vice versa. So they also help you with that setup. And here, finally, once that is done, your products are now eligible to appear on Google, which is fantastic. You made it you've come very far, and this is the time to shine. So now you can connect your Google Ads account to the Google channel to get started with smart shopping campaigns. Set your budget and get started. Now, before we even talk about paid media, just want you to take a breath, pause, because you've done a lot. What we've done so far is we looked into setting up your Google business profile, right? It's essentially adding your business information to the worldwide Google. Okay. And the next thing was, now that you are able to sell products online, or you're interested in driving traffic to your online store or even your brick and mortar, you're able to use Google Merchant Center to display all your products and services through all the channels that Google offers. So that's what we had covered. And thirdly, we also covered, Shopify is an option. If you don't have an online store, you can use Shopify to display all your products so that your customers can actually transact. Okay. And then finally, now that everything is synced, you're all cohesive and coherent, working together, now you're ready to advertise, to create even more visibility to your audience. So everyone, thank you so much. We're not going to cover the topic on paid media, on advertising. That's going to be a different subject, but I hope you stay tuned and look for that webinar, because it will be worthwhile, very worth your time, so that you can dominate your market. But to sum and to wrap up, remember that you don't have to be good to start. You just have to start to be good. So let's get started. And lastly, before I leave, I'd like to leave with you some additional resources. As I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, Google is working for you as well as always trying to improve their products. So in order to do that, they also offer you additional resources so that they can help you succeed. So here's an example of Grow My Store. Grow My Store is a site that you can share with Google so that they can kind of evaluate how it looks. So go to google.com or g.co/growmystore, and you can enter your web address, your online store, and it will walk you through the process to make sure that the content that you have is meeting Google standards. So I highly encourage you to give this a try. And remember, this is free, so you have nothing to lose. And you can enter this with a mindset of improving, right? And growing and learning so that you can have a better outcome over time. Another tool, Local Opportunity Finder, it helps you find online, helping people find you online to know when you're open and to be able to stay connected with you. So go to google.com, Local Opportunity Finder, and give this a try. And again, to sum it up, there are many tools that Google is offering. The more you utilize their tools, the more you know, and the more you can stay above your competition. And one more thing is, along with that, we have the plethora amount of information that we love to share with you. Google wants to continue to educate, and so that they can help you succeed in the online virtual space. So please go to google.com or g.co/growonair, where you can watch additional videos, some live, on information about how to conduct a successful business using Google tools. And with that said, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a lot. I learned, I always learn when I check into Grow with Google. They have so much information, and it's so exciting because online shopping is here. It is the future. It's not going away. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a great day.